for a variety of reasons. Just how much are you as a football club looking forward to the weekend?
It's been a bit of a strange week, really, because of the rearranged game on Tuesday with Wrexham. I don't think we haven't really had time to process tomorrow. We came in on Wednesday and recovered, and the players had a day off yesterday. So today's really the first time I've seen them since Tuesday night. So we haven't really had time to think about it in that under that format. So it's a good game for us. It's another exciting one. It's obviously a brilliant competition. You know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't looking forward to playing Stevenage.
Yeah, how much of an emotional attachment is there, obviously to the football club, but to the actual game on Saturday for you?
There's no emotional attachment to the game, absolutely none. There is an attachment to the football club because I spent so long there, and every role in a football club that can be done on a footballing sense, you know, I did there. Started in the community as head of community, and ended up as the manager. So I had a lot of purpose at that football club and did some good things. And you know, I shouldn't underestimate the importance of Glenn Roeder in that time, and what he contributed to that period. But no, it's a very, very good football club. Some lovely people, really lovely people. But in terms of the game tomorrow, Stevenage are the enemy. They're the opponent. They're not someone I wish well for tomorrow.
And how much of a gap is there between the two sides? They're a Football League side, but only 13 places between you in the football pyramid.
Well, I think it's got nothing to do with the game, but in terms of the infrastructure of an EFL club now compared to our club, there will be a big difference in infrastructure, facilities. Be a huge difference, obviously, in playing resources. But when it hits 5:30 tomorrow, that'll all go out the window, and it will be 11 men v 11 men, and you know, every man has his chance on the day to you know, win his battle, his individual purpose, and his individual pride to get the better of his opponent. And I think that's all we see. I think that's all this team sees. I think we saw that on Tuesday night. We see a team that is oblivious to the opponent and what they may have over what we may have. And I think if we take that attitude into tomorrow's game, I think we give ourselves the best possible chance.
And I guess for most clubs, the league's the priority. But what would a win on Saturday do for Yeovil Town as a football club?
Hopefully it will let me fill a bench. That'd be a nice start. Yeah, look, all of the things that come with it. With the players, the staff, we're just interested in the game and the memories, and you know, and what we may be able to achieve if we can jump one more hurdle. And I think that's the important. I think that's at the forefront of our thinking. All the off the field stuff is irrelevant to me. It's not part of my job and my terms. One of the great things we can do is maybe give the supporters an amazing memory. I have to sit with Terry Skiverton all day, every day, and he tells me about Liverpool and Man United and things. He's driving me mad. So it'll be nice to match an achievement like that. But Stevenage is a big game, a very good side. I know so many of the players. A few of the players are ex-apprentices of mine, so I know them well. I know them personally. I know the new manager well. A very good guy, very good experience, and again, just looking forward to the game. Just looking forward to another challenge, another battle, another one where, you know, even in the National League now, we're going to so many of these games really as the underdog, and another game tomorrow where we've got to probably punch a couple of weights above ourselves in order to maximise the opportunity.
And you talked about the bench, obviously just 4 subs on Tuesday. Is there any prospect of you bringing any new bodies into the football club, what with Christmas coming up as well?
I think there might be an opportunity to. Yeah, there won't be anything ahead of tomorrow. Yeah, we'll just have to work through December, and the schedule should slow down hopefully after tomorrow for a wee while, and then we can pick the pieces up of what the squad looks like, and if we need to recruit, which we obviously do, we'll do our best to.
and it would be a boost to see Ruben Reid on the team sheet tomorrow or on the bench. Is he close to a return?
Yeah, very close, very close. It's been brilliant having him back. He's a fabulous guy. I really enjoy working with Ruben, so it's been nice to have him back. I think it took him 45 seconds of his first training session to try and take over and teach everyone how he thinks the beautiful game should be played. But that's Ruben, and that's his influence. He's such a good person to have out there, and a wonderful player. I mean, he's still a very, very good Football League centre forward, especially with his link-up play. So if touchwood, we can get through today training, Ruben and I have got a planned discussion this afternoon as to whether he feels like he's in a good enough place to contribute. If he's not, we'll leave it a week. If he is, you'll definitely see him on the team sheet tomorrow.
And just finally, being a football manager has to be one of the hardest jobs in the world. You don't get a minute to yourself. But when you're on a little run like you are, winning at Wrexham, celebrating with the fans at full time, are you able to enjoy the job just a little bit at the moment?
No, I really enjoy my job anyway. A brilliant group, great spirit, good people. I love being around them. They're all young as well, so that keeps you, energetic and vibrant. I've really enjoyed this group of players. I enjoy working with them day to day on the training pitch. Unfortunately, in management, there's always someone that wants to take that little bit of happiness away from you, normally via social media, but sometimes internally as well. And, so it is very hard to enjoy wins. It's very easy to be low when you're beaten, but all I see wins is a chance to sleep for another week. That's all I see it as, to be able to recover. But those moments with the 106, I think, on Tuesday, they're great moments, and I'm just pleased that the team is giving them those types of experiences and has that type of connection with the supporters. I was talking to one of our supporters on Tuesday night during the warm-up, and he was telling me about his journey to get to the game. Incredible commitment, absolutely incredible sacrifice. So when the team then goes and reflects the work ethic of our supporters, they're the bits that I take great satisfaction on. And it was nice to have a little cuddle with him at the end to thank him for his efforts. But no, the players make that moment all the better and all the more worthwhile. And there's no doubt about it. We're in really good form.
Well, have a good night's sleep, and good luck tomorrow. Thank you.
Top man, thank you.
Last press conference, the word complacency reared its ugly head.
No, the word complacency came out of your ugly head, not anyone else's ugly head. Right.
But anyway, 2 minutes in, you must have thought, oh dear. But having said that, the way the team fought back, I thought was a credit to the way that you do things here. I mean, they battled back. I mean, it was a difficult game. Damned if they did, damned if they didn't.
They've battled all year. We fight a battle every day in everything we do. In everything we do with what we've got, and they battle every day. Some of them lads are battling, their bodies and mental fatigue. They've never played 17 games in a row. Charlie Wakefield has never played this many games in a row in his life. And look at the performances we're getting out with him. But last week wasn't complacency. There was a couple of players that said that after the game Saturday, and I shut them up straight away. I thought that was nonsense. It wasn't complaint. Josh Staunton made a mistake, and then Grant Smith made a mistake. But no one will ever tell me that Josh Staunton's a complacent character in any way, shape or form. So, it was just an error. It's just a mistake we made. It was the first mistake of that type. And then you think to yourself as a coach, is that seeping in? A mistake's going to start seeping into our game, and then you go away to Wrexham and you don't make a mistake all game. And they were nigh on perfect in terms of not making silly errors on Tuesday night. So I just thought it was a couple of bad decisions by a couple of brilliant contributors to the season so far. And we put it down to that. We scored a goal. We had 1 million box entries. I can tell you how many passes we had, but it's all nonsense. We had a lot more than them, and we got a point. But that's the beauty of football. Just when you think, it reminds you that no one ever knows. And tomorrow, no one knows whether Stevenage are going to start great or Yeovil are going to start great, and no one knows if we're going to win on penalties or lose on. No one knows, and that's what we do. We all come to a game every Saturday. We flip a coin and we we hope it lands the right side up. Luckily for us, it's landing on the right side up quite often at the moment. But again, we think we know, and tomorrow might surprise us. But this group never get complacent. I just thought it was 2 errors. I didn't think we played very well last week. I thought we played. I thought we looked mentally tired from the travelling. We'd done Bromley away and Dagenham away in 4 days. That's the equivalent of 16 hours on a bus. So nearly a whole day on a bus. So it's going to take it out of them at times, and sometimes we're going to then make, corresponding errors that are linked to those kind of deficits. But they always fight. We went down a 10-minute Boreham Wood. We fought like hell. We went, we had to ride some pressure on Tuesday night. They fought like hell. So, no, I'm very pleased with what they're doing. I was very pleased with them in October for their efforts. It just didn't fall for us in October. November, with our effort, has been incredible, but so has the productivity of that effort. So, no, they're very good, very good.
But to go away then following the Dover games,
absolutely,
somewhere like Wrexham, which was always going to be a bit of a bear pit, big crowd. You must have been well pleased with the performance there.
Well, I was really, I made a big call pretty much at lunch on Tuesday to not use Wilkinson because he'd had a rough night. And when we'd gone for a little walk and a bit of a light jog and a stretch Tuesday morning in Chester, I just didn't feel like his body language reflected where I thought he needed to be for him to be at his best. And let's make no bones about it, Luke Wilkinson started 8 games for us and we've won 6 of them, so he's pretty important. When you're leaving that type of influence out your team and then you're playing a central midfielder at central defence, a central defender at left back and a left back in midfield, sometimes that's hard to explain afterwards to people. But I just felt Williams would deal with something in a certain way, a certain strategy of Wrexham, the directness of the set plays, the size of their team, massive team. I thought he would deal with that really well at left back. Tick, that worked. Staunton's voice and influence at centre half worked. Tick. And Barnett into midfield worked. Tick. So sometimes we get them right and sometimes we get them wrong, but the call looks like a great call now based on the fact that we won the game. If we'd have lost the game but still had Wilkinson tomorrow, I would have still thought it was the right thing to do, knowing that Luke would be 100% for one game rather than 60% for 2 games. And I think that's what we're always trying to create a formula for here, is that we make sure the players have as full a tank of fuel for these games as possible, because there's no hiding from it. Our performances are largely based on intensity and athleticism, and if they haven't got the energy for that, then I think we, like Dover last Saturday, would be a good example. I don't think we can perform to our best.
But do you feel that the team is becoming... I tried to look this up this morning, but 8:30 in the morning and the website not working very well, I couldn't find it. But I'm getting the feeling that you've won more games away from them than you have at home. I don't know if that's right or not, but it just feels that way. You're getting some great results away from home.
Yeah, I think we're getting some great results. I mean, just great results. Beating Eastleigh here and Woking here was huge. Beat Halifax here. Massive, massive wins. Any win's a massive win. I don't care whether it comes home, abroad, away. I'm not fussed. Winning games is winning games. 3 points is 3 points. How we get there and how we do it obviously is important to what we do in the week and how we work. But the most important thing is to be a winner. And to be a winner is the hardest thing in the world, and the attitude around being a winner is a disciplined attitude. And their attitude has been brilliant. And that's why we're endearing ourselves to people, is because we're having to do things harder in a more difficult way than most, but they're trying so hard to be the best at it. And I think that's a really warming thing to have in your football club, a group of players that really give a hoot about how the football club does.
So is the magic of the FA Cup going to take us through tomorrow? I mean, it feels different. Just today, it feels different up here.
No, it's a brilliant competition. I think the fact that you can play anyone, anywhere, at any time is, gives it that kind of magic, as you alluded to. But it's a good game for us. It's added to it that obviously Dale, Luke, and I are ex-Stevenage, and so you get that connection. Like I said, I've got a good relationship with the manager. That adds to it. And we're really looking forward to it. And there's a lot of players in our dressing room that still believe they're Football League players. The manager believes he's a Football League manager. So, okay, there you go. Go and make the decisions and put in a performance that warrants that way of thinking. So we're all looking to test ourselves in that arena as well. And because we don't come up against these sides, every year, twice a year, 3 times a year, it just makes it that little bit more special that we get the opportunity to play Stevenage. So I've been looking forward to this game since the draw come out. I'm really looking forward to the game now, and I just really want to get it going now.
Does Yeovil's sort of history in the FA Cup bring any extra pressure on you at
Well,
all?
I've been asked that question so much. I was asked it twice yesterday by other outlets, and I want to create history just so people stop asking me about the history.
Yeah.
But again, Terry's had he's been here for 100 years and seen all of those big games come and go, and he still talks about Markin Heskey and Mourinho coming here with Man United, and so they're wonderful memories. And the reason he talks about them is because they're good memories for him, and he shares them. He's a good storyteller, he's Tell, and we'd like to create our own. Of course we would, and that's really what we're in it for. Because no one's a millionaire from working at Yeovil or being in the lower leagues of English football. So what are we really doing it for? We're doing it for the memories and the attachments you can make with people and supporters and staff and players. So if we can add to that, that's a good thing to have in your life.
Well, best of luck tomorrow.
Top man.
You've all kind of alluded to Terry, but I'm going to be chatting to him. Could be quite a long conversation there.
Have you got a pillar?
22 years, which is amazing.
Yeah.
He's outlasted everybody.
It could be seen as his fault.
How important to you, maybe initially, was he in terms of getting a feel for, his love of the club and settling in?
It's a funny story. If you ask him, I'm sure he'll tell a different version of it. But when I was up here, where we are now, signing my contract, John Fry at the time said, "Do you know Terry Skiverton?" I said, "Yes, I do." I'd only come up against him, obviously as Stevenage manager, and I saw him play as a player. And I think I met him when he was manager of Yeovil, when I was at Brentford. And I remember this. I remember this big ginger head that wanted to be blonde, and some silly pair of trainers who wore a tracksuit, and that was my only sort of recollection of Terry. But John sent for him straight away when I signed my contract that day, and he came up and he said to me, "Look, I'm in the academy, but if you need anything, here's my number, give me a call." And I think I just said, "Well, I'm going to need you Monday." And he never left, really. And we've never had a conversation about his job title. We've never had a conversation about his role. He is just a brilliant football man, an unbelievable guy, and a very close friend of mine now, someone that will be my friend for the rest of my life, really. And we get on great. We argue like you wouldn't believe. We've had the odd dust up as well, which is always quite funny. And no, I couldn't do it without him. I really couldn't. He's a great guy. I know he's got every other manager here in the sack, but he hasn't done it to me yet.
Did you get a sense of
I was being so kind there. I couldn't. It's like that. It's like that moment in Friends where you think it's a bit of a sensitive moment, and then Joey walks out with, I don't know, some elastic pants on or something like that.
Do you sense what this club means to him now?
It's everything to him. I mean, 22 years, coming to the same place for 22 years. And he doesn't get the credit here he deserves, because I know as a player he was a very powerful, dominant footballer and leader. But he's a very good coach, very analytical. I would say he's actually probably the flip reverse of what people think of him as a player, destructive, hard man, that type. So but he's a very analytical, very deep-thinking football coach, which I mock on a daily basis. But he doesn't get the credit here for his service. And again, he's not a millionaire from 22 years working at Yeovil, so there's a lot of love and emotional, attachment. He's talking about Stevenage and having an emotional attachment there. There's definitely an emotional attachment to Yeovil for Terry.
Hey Darren, how you doing?
Right. Am I going to have all of you every week, by the way? Nah, but I'm not, am I? Nah, I just wondered there.
One of the key differences this season's been your defensive record. For you, has that been key for yourself as well? How good you been?
Oh, absolutely. We're not scoring too many goals. I mean, that's pretty evident. But I must say the players deserve massive credit, because in pre-season, I don't think we did an attacking session until the season started. Because last year we had so many different variations of the back four. If, for example, we needed to go down that road again and have lots of variations, and we have had quite a few again, I needed to know that all the variable options were going to be able to work if and when. So like Morgan Williams going in at left back. And we worked so hard on defending, and the team defending. And when you watch, and we mustn't forget, especially Knowles and Wakefield, when they defend, they're incredible. Matt Worthington is like 4 players defensively. He's everywhere. So the work ethic of the team defensively is fueled by their determination and desire to do well. And the fella on the side shouting at them to run around a lot. But their actual thought behind why they're running and how they're running and when they run is fabulous. And that comes down to the work we did pre-season. I'm adamant with that. And we've changed shape a lot, but we very rarely come away from a back four. Very rarely. And that's because of all the work we've put into it. So they've been brilliant. The way we defended Tuesday night, was admirable beyond belief. That Tozer's throw, I can't kick it that far. It's incredible. So that they defended so many box entries, and comfortably. Really comfortably. Wind coming into their face, rain in their face. There must have been 3,000 behind that goal, maybe more, 3,000 or 4,000 behind that goal. And they just sort of shook it off and did their job, and that's brilliant. And again, we go through the processes of why Josh Staunton, Luke Wilkinson, Max Hunt. Max Hunt was made at Wrexham when he broke his cheekbone last year and played the full game with a fractured cheekbone, being sick and blood coming out every blooming place known to man, and he just played. He was made at Wrexham. I said that to him before the game on Tuesday. This place made you. And it does. It's those experiences, it's that resilience that you develop as a human being when adversity strikes or some sort of challenge is presented, that you overcome and you get back out there. I thought Auntie has been incredible for us, absolutely incredible.
I mentioned it to Josh before, this season for a lot of young players, it's a lot of bursts for them, and he was really proud to see him guiding them through that. Is it the same for you being...
Oh, was he now, yeah? Taking credit for that, was he, old Staunton? No, they're just great to... They're just great to work with. Their training attitude is unbelievable. Now look, I know what type of character I am. I very rarely allow people to come in and have a day off or go through the motions. It's not in me, because I certainly don't. But their attitude to my attitude is first class, absolutely. And to Terry, of course. But I think I think the biggest thing for those young players, and we've tried to nail this day in, day out with them, is there's nothing to be afraid of on a football pitch. Don't ever show fear on a football pitch. There's nothing to be afraid of. We've had the worst of the worst happen at this place. And after you go through that, there's nothing out on the football pitch that can scare you. There's no big man with a broken nose and, I'm going to do this to you. That's not scary. We've had real fear here, real anxiety, real sort of stress, and we impose that on the players every day. There's nothing to be afraid of down that tunnel. Just go and play, be nice and bright, work for each other, work for the club, make sure you show that you care, make sure your body language is right, pass the blooming ball properly, for Pete's sake. You're a professional footballer. And it's very simple things, it's really simple things, but because they're emotionally in it, they're in it and they're with us, they put in the types of performances that really kind of go, wow, something special might be happening here.
Just finally for me, we've hinted that Ruben might be back this weekend. Is there any news on Mark Little and Mitch Rose at all?
Marky's, well, they're two very different. Marky's starting to run. I think he's doing his first full running session today, full weight bearing. He's been on the Alter G machine, which can relieve the weight, the load that you put down on the injured part of your body. So he's been on that. Now he's going to do 100% of his body weight on it. So it's a big day for Mark today. And then hopefully next week we'll have him kicking the ball again, and maybe then he's a couple of weeks from joining in training. I'd like to think Mark, I've always had Boxing Day in mind of him being back in the squad. Hopefully it's earlier, but maybe Boxing Day. And the same for Jack Robinson at Middlesbrough. He should be back for that Christmas period, which will be brilliant. And slowly but surely, obviously, Ruben's been reintegrated. Mitch is a different one because Mitch is not about injury anymore. It's about resources, and it's being able to sign him and play him, and pay him, and all the other bits that go with it. So, I'd love Mitch to be with us for tomorrow. I really would. A brilliant player, but he's not available contractually, and all those other bits. But no, we're getting there. December was always, Terry and I always looked at December and thought, if we can just get to December, Reedy, Little, and stuff like that. So, and when, we've not seen the Mark Little yet, or not enough supporters have seen enough of Mark Little, but he's some player. It'd be like signing the best player in the league all over again. So, huge, he'll be a huge contributor to our second half of the season. And like I've always said from day one, as long as we're around and about, when we get people like Little back, Robinson back, Reed back, Wilkinson's fully fit, I think we'll have a good side.
That's great. Good luck Saturday night.
Hang up. Ben.
Hi,
Ben.
Hi, Darren. How you doing, mate? You said that Max Hunt was made at Wrexham. Was Dan Moss made at Wrexham on Tuesday night? He had 8,000 people baying for his blood with a target on his back from the players on the pitch. What a mature performance from him.
Not at half time, he wasn't. He looked like a rabbit in the headlights. We had to really get him focused. That was we said about this being a season of first for these young people. We had to really refocus him, but absolute credit to his maturity and his character, because like his second half he was faultless. I mean, faultless. And whenever someone gets a booking, I do make the point of saying to him, "Are you going to let us down? Is that what you're going to do now? You're going to let us down?" No. I'm going to be all right. Okay. But I had Alex Bradley ready from minute 30, I think, all the way through to the very end, to if he did make a little slip or he did look like he was starting to show signs of, tiredness or mental fatigue, Alex was ready to go. It was the one sub that we could replace like for like for, so it was important to have Alex ready there and then. But he's been brilliant, Dan. I think we can all see that, and the most low maintenance human being I've ever worked with. I mean, I still don't think he spoke to me. He's a weird and wonderful one. He's Dan Moss, but no, good performance, brilliant performance. The way he dealt with Hosanna on the left hand side was credit to him.
One name that we missed off the injury checklist there was Tom Knowles. His concussion has been confirmed or not? Is it as serious as we thought? Are we going through protocols? What's the situation with him?
All of those things. He's on what could be the last stage of a protocol today.
Okay.
If he can complete the last sort of batch of testing today, he should be available for tomorrow. He should be available. He hasn't done anything this week, really, but he should be available for selection. And now, obviously, he's a massive player for us, Tom, so that'll be a nice one to have back.
Was it quite a difficult thing to sort of diagnose early on? It was acted upon quite quickly, and I know that there are different protocols with regards to concussion and head injuries and stuff. How difficult and challenging a prospect has that been for the medical team or local departments or whatever it may be?
Well, we've got the most wonderful doctor, Chris Minton, who's a fantastic man, brilliant man, who's been here now for this is his second season. and obviously he absolutely quarterbacked everything when Lee died. A brilliant guy. So I just trust him. That's his area of expertise. He said to me, he can't go back on. I said, no problem. We'll play with 10. It's not a big. I'm never ever going to put Tom at risk with his health. Tom looked like he was trying to fight the physio and the doctor to get back on. But no, the doc said it wasn't safe for him to continue. So we worked through the protocols. They do all of that. That's way over my head. Jesus, I'll stick to 4-4-2, I think. But he no, they're happy with him. He's on the last stage of today. They have to test straight after the event, then they test a few days after, and so on and so on. And so hopefully he's good.
Cool. One name that sort of is obviously out on loan at the moment, Toby Stevens. He's played a couple of games so far. A couple of Tudors, the Hemel Hempstead fans have told us on the Clovers cast that he's doing okay. Have you had any feedback about his early stint so far?
Oh yeah, daily. Mark Jones, who's manager there, obviously worked for me in year one here. So Mark's a good friend, very good coach, and we speak all the time anyway, Mark and I. So it's a very easy one with Toby. What I wanted, I'm sure people out there will be a bit confused why we can't fill a bench and we've loaned Toby out, but I thought it was so important, not just for his career but for his state of mind, that he saw some football. And if it meant, I mean, we're suffering because of that in terms of numbers, but Toby's contribution so far at his stage of his career has been 10, 15, 20 minutes. I didn't think that was enough for a young man who's training every day and getting 10 minutes maybe once every 2 weeks. I didn't think that was fair on him. I didn't think that did his career any good. And remember, this isn't Darren Sarll FC, this is Yeovil Town FC. So I always try and leave my ego to one side and try and do what's best for the football club. And for Toby to be a real asset to the football club, he's got to play a few more games. He's had an unbelievable apprenticeship because he's spent his whole apprenticeship with the first team, and very few apprentices do that. So he's had a really good apprenticeship, and he needed to play. And Mark had him here in the youth team. Mark knew him really well, and he needed some help at Hemel in that position. And we were more than happy for him to go. We knew that it would, it wouldn't look great, but oh well. I've not looked great for years. So,
when you turned around on Tuesday night and you saw Alex Bradley, Mr. Versatile, Mr. Reliable, and you saw Luke Wilkinson, who'd been a bit poorly, a goalkeeper, and then young Ollie Haste. How close has Ollie Haste come to having to make his debut via necessary means or otherwise over the last couple of games?
No, Ollie trains with us every day. He's a smashing lad, a really lovely lad. He's got a great attitude. He's real like all or nothing type. I think we saw that in the Somerset Cup when he flew into a couple of tackles like Ron Chopper Harris. But no, look, in all honesty, he hasn't been close to getting on unless we've absolutely had to, because even though I want to give Ollie that experience in his career and I want him to look back and think, I got a chance here, I have to be mindful of where I think they are in their development spectrum. And I think the games that we've played, Dagenham, Bromley, I think it'd have been unfair. I really do. And I want to make sure his experience is for the right reason, not for any other reason, political or any of that mumbo jumbo. So I want to make sure that when he does get that first sort of breath of professional football, it is absolutely the right time, the right place, and right for him. Right for us, of course, as well. But he's had an unbelievable experience travelling away with the first team. He's on our college scheme. I can't remember too many scholars when we had a real under-18 team, an apprenticeship programme here. I can't remember too many of them doing what he's done, apart from Tobes. So hopefully he's had an incredible experience travelling, being in front of 8,000. I said to him Tuesday night, it's still only grass and two goals. Ignore the seats. The seats and the people are irrelevant to a game of football. Just concentrate on grass and goals. That's all you got to do. Because they can be a little bit awestruck by it all. 8,000's a lot of people for these lads. So, no, we love having him around. I'd love to be able to give him a shot. when I feel it's ready and right, and I've got to say, if we're going on the fact that my experience is extensive with player development and productivity for young players, then when I think it's right, I'll know and he'll get a go. But he'll play in all the Somerset Cup games for us. We've got the trophy coming up. That might be an opportunity to get him on the pitch. But we'll do it at the right time.
With half a thought to tomorrow, and obviously we can name 7 substitutes, and we haven't been able to fill 5 recently. And your background with player development, how close do you have to work with the under-18s and sort of to see who they've got and how they're developing, and whether any of them are close enough to being able to be in those experienced positions to have a moment on the bench?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot different now, the infrastructure of the club, than when I joined. It's a lot different. We had a team of employees at under 18. We haven't got a team of employees at under 18 now. We've got a team of lads that have come for both an academic and a sporting experience, and that's very different. It's very, very different. So the answer to your question is, I can only get to see the under 18s when they're not at college. I do not control their whereabouts anymore. I'm not their employer. They're here for the right reasons. They're here for a fantastic experience, a good education at the college, and a life as a sportsman. So their main focus, or their employment with us, is not down to them becoming a player for our first team. Some of those lads might not want to be a first team footballer. They might want to be a physio or a coach or an analyst or, I don't know, a banker. So the actual attitude and environment around player development is different. We're using 2 or 3 on a daily basis of those college lads, if we can, and if for argument's sake, if they're not up to date with their college work, I don't take them. I don't think that's the right message to send, that you can be an average student but still get great opportunities as a sportsman. I think sport is a bonus and something that should be valued as a way of keeping you disciplined in other areas of your life. So there's so many variables that are different now to when we had an academy as such, and a full-time apprentice program. So it's tough, very tough, but we try and give them the opportunities. We've obviously seen Terry's son Finn playing the games. We've got to be very cautious around COVID. These young people, they have social lives. They mix with lots of other people, that mix with lots of other people, that mix with so on and so forth. So we have to be careful about bubbles and how many we allow in the changing room and testing. And it's a minefield now. It is a minefield.
If I can finish by looking a little bit further ahead, it's been made so obvious that this group is in such a brilliant unit at the moment, such a well-oiled team. It feels like they're at the start of a journey as a Yeovil team. Quite where it ends up, who knows, this season or beyond. Have there been any early thoughts, conversations regarding extending loan deals or getting players contracted beyond the end of the season? Because I think, including yourself, I might be wrong, but including yourself, right, I believe it's just Quigley and Williams that are secured for next season.
No, that's not. Yeah, go on, carry on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, what has any early thoughts or conversations begun regarding securing some long-term futures?
Well, I'll take the loans first. We're constantly in dialogue with Millwall over Moss. Moss would like to stay, but that will be dependent on. I think Millwall would like him to stay, but it'll be dependent on their availability in January. We're quite far down the road with Robinson and Middlesbrough because we'd like him to stay. Watford's a different one because it's Premier League, and we can only really do anything once January the 1st hits. But we'd love Sonny to be with us. We would really love that. So them 3 are the kind of the main 3 loans. In regards to your other question, I don't know. Who's the manager next year?
Would you like to be?
Oh, of course, absolutely. My family are here. My daughter was born in Somerset. I've got a lovely life. Love working with Terry. Brilliant club. Unbelievable supports. Of course, but that's not how football works. It doesn't. I don't sort of slap a beating heart on the table and say, I love the place, and they go, oh, there you go, Darren, have another job. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So the answer to your question is, I don't know. We all know about rumours of this, that, and the other in the background. Who knows about that? I don't know. Is there more money, less money, who knows? So it's a bit of a trick question, really.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's a bit of one, but I don't mind answering it because I'm honest, but they're my thoughts. Does Luke Wilkinson want to play for Yeovil next year? I don't know. I'll have to ask him. Does he want to play for someone other than Darren Sarll? I don't know. I'll have to ask him. But until the kind of the hierarchy is set in stone, and this is the board of directors, this is the manager, and then what players do you want? I don't think anything happens until after that. So we'll have to wait and see.
But if I could wave a magic wand and say you can have this group for longer than just this season, you'd be very much up for that because of the journey they're on. That's what I'm saying. It really feels like they're starting something as a group.
Absolutely. I love working with them, and they've been for me as a human being, forget being a manager. They've brought me back to life. This group of players, they really have brought me back to life, given me loads of energy. I'm in a great place now. Terry's in a great place. We've kind of we'll never rid ourselves of the tragic events, but they've certainly brought defibrillated our energy, Terry and I, to really want to be fresh and to be vibrant and to be creative again, and we do give them great credit for doing that in a man-to-man kind of way, because they've had a huge influence on our lives, huge influence.